What's up, y'all? Welcome on back to a brand new recap and review series where I am diving into season 2 of Dandadan. I have already reviewed all of season 1, not episode by episode, but I did a season 1 as a whole review. You can catch that link right here. And obviously, if you have not watched episode 1 of season 2, this is your opportunity to push pause and then come back once you have caught up, because I will be recapping the entire episode and full spoilers from this point forward. So just a little background on this show for me personally. I fucking love Dandadan. This is one of my favorite anime airing right now. I started watching this for the first time when we were in Japan, was watching it at the airport, and I was just cackling, just laughing my ass off at the airport. I ended up binging like the first 4 episodes of the show at the airport because that was all they had released at the time. So I was able to catch up and then watch it week by week. And I loved every episode of the show. I thought it was hilarious. And also, they did really good job of having just great characters, had great character interactions, just some great development. The relationship between Momo and Okarun was so fucking good. It was just some of the best humor that I've seen in an anime of recent memory. So it just kept me coming back week to week. And now that season 2 is here, I'm excited to review every single episode of season 2. Eventually I'll go back and review every single episode of season 1. But for now, we're going to jump into season 2. And right off the bat, the worst part of season 2 is going to be the fact that we don't get that bomb-ass intro every single episode. The intro to season 1, one of the best anime intros of all time. That song just fit the vibe and the tone of the show just perfectly. I have it in like several different playlists on Spotify, and it'll just play randomly. I listen to the entire damn thing because that song is one of the GOATs when it comes to intros. But we get a different one here, and I mean, it's okay. It's nowhere near in comparison to the season 1 intro, but what are they going to do? Continue the intro every single season? They're not going to do that, but they should. Momo fights off her attackers by smashing pieces of the onsen into them until the authorities intervene, and we get a little bit of Turbo Granny here. I need more of Turbo Granny. This show does not give me enough of it. If I had to have a complaint of season 1, and then hopefully it kind of fix itself in season 2. I haven't read the manga yet. I have the first volume, so I do plan on going into this series as I'm reviewing it, but I need more Turbo Granny. That is the biggest complaint that I have of season 1, is she just wasn't in it enough. We had her sprinkled throughout the season, but it was just like, I'm telling you, just a few seconds here or there. It wasn't anything substantial. And anytime she's on the screen, she's a scene stealer. I gravitate right towards her. Love every moment of Turbo Granny. The voice acting is really great, and she just says some of the dumbest shit, but it's so freaking funny every single time. Meanwhile, Jiji and Okarun hide the talisman-filled room when the Kitos, a family of older women and men, arrive at Jiji's home. Jiji reveals the Kitos are his landlords as they begin interrogating him. So the Golden Girls are introduced into the scene. That's initially what I thought, because they're just old women, and they're talking to Jin and Okarun, and she says it would be very bad if someone got in between my gun and a boar. And that's when Jin says, man, like, if a cop walked in right now, you would probably go to jail pointing that gun at me. And then legitimately a cop walks in and fucking nothing, bro. It's just an absolute hilarious moment. And then all the guys from the hot spring walk into the house. It was just a great scene overall. There's some surprisingly good tension between the Kito family, Jiji, and Okarun. You're just waiting for shit to pop off, and it's like right there at the edge, and it's about to spill over, and it never does until obviously later in the episode. But I just thought they did a good job with building the tension here. It's like Jiji and Okarun are kind of scared at this point. They're not sure what's about to happen. And then we have the Golden Girls and the Golden Guys being really devious and kind of implying that they're going to kill Jiji and Okarun. So again, some great tension between all of these characters. Of the entire episode, these are some of my favorite scenes for sure. I just thought some of the humor, some of the tension was just the best it could be. And then now it's time for some action set pieces, and that was one of the things that season 1 did really well. The action wasn't amazing by any means. It wasn't some of the best in anime, if I had to say that there was a minor criticism of season 2, it was the fact that the action was never up to the standards of everything else in the show. But I always liked that they were able to mix in action with character development, with humor, story. All that was just mixed very well. It didn't give you a lot of action to make you exhausted from it. It didn't give you a lot of action to make you think that it just ruined the episode because it maybe wasn't as good as everything else. The design and choreography of the action throughout the rest of this episode was really great. I felt like it was a little bit more engaging, especially with the fact that the back half of this episode is just strictly action set pieces. Momo arrives back at the house. She notices Jiji and Okarun have been restrained by the Kitos, and once she fights them, Momo is blasted into the hidden room by the head of the Kitos, Naki, and starts sinking into quicksand. Everyone soon falls into the hole where they discover a neighborhood buried within the mountain. Crazy good visuals here. Love the visuals of the fact that this entire neighborhood is underground and it's all like dilapidated and almost like a post-apocalyptic look to it. Really great visuals here that I wasn't expecting. Then they encounter a giant snake god, which Okarun recognizes as the Mongolian death worm. The worm proceeds to eat the Kitos, who are trying to sacrifice the trio, as the kids seek refuge in one of the buildings. However, Momo and Okarun start losing control of themselves, with Okarun turning into his yokai form and crawling towards Jiji. And that's where episode 2 ends. I thought this was a great episode to start off season 2. I love how weird this show gets with the whole Kito family sacrificing people to what they perceived is a huge serpent that saved them from a volcano erupting, but it's actually this huge Mongolian death worm that they have been feeding for 200 years. The action is good. Like I mentioned, I thought the action was one of the weaker points of season 1, and the action is good here. I thought it was better. It looked better for sure. And I love the interactions between these characters more than anything. And the humor there goes along with it for sure, which that is no different from season 1. The humor and the character development, the characters in general, were the highlights of season 1 and why I love this show so much. Now, let me tell you, I was super hyped for season 2. I've been counting down the days to this first episode being released. But when you start watching this episode, you realize that you've forgotten just how great season 1 was and how it makes you feel, how much you enjoyed it. Season 1 was so fucking good. In fact, I would recommend checking out my season 1 review on the channel, but I can't say enough good things about season 1. It kind of blew me away with how much I enjoyed it, and I just found it on a whim. It wasn't like I went into it knowing what Dandadan was. I hadn't watched any of the trailers, anything like that. I just know that a lot of people were talking about it and that it was good. Had no idea what it was about. Just jumped into it, and I think that's really what makes me love this show more than anything. Is just I never had expectations going into it, but no, it's great. And season 2 is off to a great start. I cannot wait for the next episode to drop. But guys, let me know down in the comments below, how are you feeling about season 2 right off the bat? How do you feel about this first episode? And are you excited for the rest of the series? But go ahead and leave me that comment below. And while you're down there, hit that like and subscribe button. Really helps us out. And you can also follow along with me as I go through every single episode of season 2. So make sure you hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of these recap and review episodes. But guys, I appreciate you joining me for this episode. I will catch y'all next time on the next one. Laters.